The heat is on. You touch the thermostat without even looking. Somewhere between 68 and 72 degrees, the range your body decided was comfortable. You're wearing a t-shirt in January. Your fridge is stocked for another week. Outside, it's below freezing. It doesn't concern you at all. Now strip all of that away. No thermostat, no insulation, no glass, no gas line, no grocery store. Strip away everything invented in the last 100,000 years. Put yourself outside, January, wearing only what you could make with your hands. That's where your ancestors lived. Not an emergency, a normal Tuesday. For 3,000 years, Homo sapiens survived winters that would kill an unequipped modern in hours. Temperatures dropped to -30 degrees across Europe and Asia. Wind stripped heat from exposed skin in minutes. Darkness lasted 16 hours a day for months. No stored calories beyond what they'd hunted or dried before the cold hit. And they made it. Generation after generation. A tropical primate, which is what you are, learned to colonize the coldest places on Earth. The question isn't whether they survived. You're proof they did. The question is how. The answer is stranger than almost anyone expects. Start with the body. Winter survival begins and ends there. Your core sits at 37 degrees. Drop it to 35 and you shiver uncontrollably. Drop it to 33 and your thinking turns confused. Drop it to 30 and you lose consciousness. Below 28, your heart stops. The margin between alive and dead is less than 10 degrees. That's what your ancestors worked with every winter night for 3,000 years. But the body isn't helpless in the cold. Vasoconstriction happens first. Blood vessels near skin tighten, pulling warmth to the core. Fingers go cold, toes go cold, the heart stays warm. That's not discomfort. That's triage. Shivering comes next, muscles contracting to generate heat. A shivering body burns energy at nearly 5 times the resting rate. Run out of fat, you run out of shivering. Run out of shivering, you stop being warm. That arithmetic was the core pressure of every ancient winter. But the body does something else, something researchers only recently understood. It adapts, not over generations, but within a single season. In 2014, physiologist Wouter van Marken-Lichtenbelt showed cold exposure activates brown fat. Brown fat generates heat directly, instead of just storing energy. It sits around the neck and upper back, a biological furnace. Deliberate cold exposure increases both its volume and efficiency over time. Your ancestors were cold every winter, for decades. That biological machinery is still inside you, just switched off. No amount of brown fat keeps you alive at -30 without shelter, clothing, or fire. Fire is the oldest technology your ancestors had for managing winter. The oldest confirmed fire evidence comes from Wonderwork Cave, South Africa. Burned bone and ash, roughly 1 million years old. That's Homo erectus making fire inside shelter, 1 million years before Homo sapiens existed. But South African winters are mild. The real test came when humans pushed north. By 500,000 years ago, archaic humans lived in England, Germany, northern China. At Beech's Pit, England, archaeologists found structured hearths dating back 400,000 years, deliberately built, repeatedly used, maintained over time. A fire you stumble across is warmth. A fire you build is strategy. But fire only works if you're near it. Step away, and the cold returns fast. Your ancestors needed something to hold warmth against their bodies. They needed clothing. Clothing leaves almost no archaeological record. Leather rots, fibers dissolve. So researchers turned to genetics, the human body louse. Body lice need clothing to survive. They live in seams, not hair. By tracking when body lice split from head lice, scientists dated the origin of clothing. The answer? Roughly 17,000 years ago, long before humans left Africa. That's when your ancestors started wearing clothes, not fashion, survival infrastructure. The Inuit took this furthest, 2 layers of caribou skin, fur alternating in and out. That system held survivable body heat at -50 degrees with almost no extra calories burned. No synthetics, no Gore-Tex, just centuries of refined understanding. But clothing and fire only manage the cold while you're awake and moving. The most dangerous hours were the still ones. Sleep, when body heat drops for 8 hours. Shelter solved that. Caves helped when available. Lascaux and Altamira show repeated winter occupation. But caves are rare. So your ancestors built. In 1965, archaeologists found structures built entirely from woolly mammoth bones, jaw bones stacked in arches, limb bones as roof supports, skulls anchoring the walls. Built 15,000 years ago, using bones from up to 149 mammoths. Every bone chosen for a purpose, knowledge passed across generations. Covered in mammoth hide, these structures held heat even at -20 outside. They weren't caves, they were houses. Picture a winter camp in Ukraine, 15,000 years ago. February, -18 degrees C. 8 hours of daylight, 25 to 30 people. 2 bone structures, central hearths. Near the fire just above freezing, cold by your standards, survivable by theirs. People sit close together. Shared body heat isn't sentiment, it's physics. Outside, wind chill drops the effective temperature near -30. Nobody goes out unless they have to. So what did they do with 14 hours of darkness? They talked, they made things, they taught. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied the Kung San, one of the closest living parallels to Ice Age foragers. Daytime talk was practical. Resources, tasks, complaints. Night talk by firelight was 81% stories, past hunts, group history, moral lessons. That firelight conversation wasn't idle. It was how a group remembered who it was. Winter's long dark hours weren't an interruption. They may have been the most important part of forager life. Then something changed. Food storage. The cold was manageable. The real problem was calories. Winter demands more, provides less. The oldest evidence of deliberate storage comes from Kesem Cave, Israel. Saved animal fat, 400,000 years old. That wasn't instinct. That was planning for a future that hadn't arrived yet. By 3,000 years ago, storage got sophisticated. Pits dug below the frost line at Dolny Vistonets. A natural refrigerator, engineered on purpose. Your ancestors just knew frozen meat stayed edible. The Nenets of Siberia still bury reindeer in permafrost after the autumn kill. But storage creates a new problem. Defense. A buried cache was worth dying for. Which is why sharing became a survival rule, not just a kindness. Hoarding meant someone froze. That instinct is still in you today. The discomfort you feel seeing someone go hungry. It's old. Older than agriculture. Winter wasn't just survived. It was a forge. It built storytelling, trust, sharing, planning, the architecture of human society. You adjusted the thermostat without looking. But your body hasn't forgotten. That warmth is your ancestors' inheritance. Subscribe for more of what your body still remembers.